A funny world we live in, don't you think? A world where people can't be with who they are, happy with who they are. A world where you change your image or your character just to please another being, which, trust me, isn't much different than you. Today we live in a world based on our assumptions. We judge people based on what we assume about them, just by seeing how they look or how they dress. Now, sometimes our assumptions serve us right, like when a stranger approaches you and you get that weird stomach feeling. But most often than not, our assumptions either hurt someone or puts us in that really awkward position we'd much rather like to avoid. A lot of the time we think that what we see and experience is the reality. That's when we start to make judgments based on our perceptions. Have you ever reacted a certain way to a situation or person only to realize afterwards that what you thought, what you made yourself believe wasn't necessarily the truth? It was simply how you perceived it at that very moment. I was in fourth period one day, and I had the most interesting, strange, enlightening, and humbling experience. So here I am getting ready to pack up and put my things away because it's the end of the period. And I turn around to grab my backpack because I always put my backpack behind my chair, and I can't find my backpack. My backpack, strange, right? So I second guess myself, and I look again as if it would magically appear. But it's not there. So here I am trying to pack up to leave, and I can't find my backpack anywhere. Now you can imagine if you lose something as valuable as your backpack during school, you get a little upset, frustrated even. So I stand up, face the class, and say, "Where's my backpack?" Something's happened to my backpack. Maybe someone stole it, and they don't know, and I don't know. So I began to search. I look everywhere. I go through all the boxes and the cabinets, the drawers, and it's not there. Nothing. Now I start to make some assumptions and judgments. I'm not proud of it, but can you blame me? I mean, my mind starts going. Have you ever had that? When something happens and you begin to assume things and you start thinking all these rash things? And from that assumption, you create this whole scenario, an entire reality that may or may not be true. So here I am. There's about 3 security guards that come into the classroom and just begin searching everyone. Anyone that even remotely looks like they have an abnormally sized backpack, they search. And it's a lost cause. It's nowhere to be found. So I just let it go. I leave to go to my next class, and 20 minutes after I get there, I get called down to the office. Now, I'm still a little frustrated, and frankly, a little mad at the school too, because that's where it was stolen, right? And I'm completely under the impression that someone at the school had stolen my backpack. And that has now become my reality, because my mind just put 2 and 2 together, and it says, if you came to class with your backpack and you leave without it, it's a given. Someone has stolen it, period. So, many of the things we believe every day that may seem like realities really aren't realities. They are interpretations, assumptions, and judgments based on what we've seen or heard or have experienced that are impacting and clouding the reality of the situation that we are experiencing. Okay. So when my mind told me that my backpack was stolen, does that mean it was true? So I get to the office, and they begin to question me about my backpack. I mean, I'm still frustrated about the people who stole my backpack. So do I look like I want to answer your questions? I mean, seriously. All of a sudden, the security guard from earlier and another student walk in. And sure enough, there it is, my backpack, right in his hands. So here comes the security guard. And right there and then, I make another assumption about the kid walking next to him. And I assume that he had found the kid who stole my backpack. And I just want to pounce on the kid and tear his eyes out because he's stolen my backpack. It was my backpack. And then the security guard says this kid had found your backpack in the cafeteria. And I remember that we have lunch during 4th. So I think back. I had my backpack when class started. I went to lunch with my backpack, but didn't come back with it. And at the end of the 4th period, it was gone. And that moment was a very humbling moment, because I got to see up close and personal in such a simple way how when you see something with your eyes, how your mind can take that image and turn it completely into something that seems plausible, but really it's just assumptions about the school, about the people, about the kid, about the situation. I mean, I created a whole scenario, a whole reality that was not based on any reality at all. None whatsoever other than what my mind had made up. I got to experience the reality and the emotion based on that false reality that wasn't even real. Now think about it. How often do you do that? How often do you do that with people in your everyday life and relationships? Making assumptions about what the other person is experiencing, how they feel about how they feel, and how they don't feel about you. Because they didn't do that, it must mean this. So take a step back and observe the situation. The person before you react, don't judge and assume. Because take this from me, when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. I probably